You saw my Metsies got a nice twin bill sweep last night,
So
right?
what was I telling you yesterday before we came to air that more doubleheaders
are swept rather than split.
Yeah. And there you go. So I know you. Once you won that game in the 8th, or whatever bullshit they play in baseball now, when Peter Villar or Kevin Villar or Manny Villar, you were like, you know what? I remember what guy said, we're going to win the second game. I know you because I guarantee that's what you said.
I was thinking about it. I brought it up to my daughter. We were watching the game. She's learned to be watching all sports events with daddy these days, which is great. We switched over from the Rangers victory against the Devils. That was nice. Right. So we had that nice sweep. I don't know why baseball is doing this. It doesn't make sense to me that we have to. First of all, how many games are we playing this year?
I don't know. I think it's 162, but I really don't know. I'm being honest with you. I think they plan on playing the full.
So why are we? So why do we have more doubleheaders? Or if we have more doubleheaders now, because of what? Because of COVID-related stuff. Look, we've had doubleheaders because it's the spring and it rains in the spring, guy, and that's what happens. Games get rained out. You don't need to start with a guy on second base. By the way, the guy in the Phillies who lost the game last night's on my roto team, and he blew a save for no reason. It wasn't his fault. He started with the guy on second base. I'm pissed about that. But it shows how roto baseball can bastardize your allegiances. And look, and I know you're allegiant to one team, so
we'll that is true. There are actually two teams, but I won't get into the second.
Well, that's true, and it's interesting. So we've had this conversation in rock and roll. Like you either, much like in fast food, you're either a Burger King or a McDonald's person, or you're either a Coke or a Pepsi person.
That's true. One is true.
I think the others are true too. Don't tell me they're not. And the other one is you're either a Rolling Stones or a Who person. I think. I mean, I know you're a Zeppelin person, but I think people, to their credit, Zeppelin's always put in a different camp. But I think the Who and the Stones are compared, and they say, like, who would you rather?
The Who every day of the week. And I think you would agree with that. I mean, look, I think I dig the Stones, but I mean, I think the Who is just a much better band and a better body of work. There's a lot of shitty Rolling Stones material out there. I mean, littered out there.
I think the Who broke a lot of new ground, and I think there's a lot of different styles in there. I mean, they sounded more like the Beatles did when they started, or the Stones, and some of the stuff they did into the 70s. And like some of Tommy and not really much of Quadrophenia is the rock opera stuff's a little monotonous, but Pete Townsend is a genius. He's a top 3 rocker, an important composer, rocker, songwriter of all time in rock and roll. And I don't care what you think out there, folks. So on this day in 1975, the Stones took a pretty important change in their trajectory, and that was the day that Brian Jones, who a lot of people thought was also one of the most important members of that band, had to be by
gone too
by
soon.
one Ronnie Wood.
Sure, Faces fame.
By the way, of Faces, maybe Small Faces too. Has anyone ever seen Ron Wood and Rod Stewart in the same place at the same time? I mean,
100%. I mean, they toured together.
Crazy. And I'm joking, but you also got to go Hundy on me that these two dudes they're like the same. They're the same looking guy.
No doubt.
It's weird. Bad haircuts for a long time on both those guys, by the way. Terrible haircuts. But I mean, Ron Wood came in ahead of some, I think, much bigger axe players than that. I mean, Eric Clapton, there's rumors of a Jeff Beck. I mean, there was all kinds of dudes that could have, possibly, I think, what do I know?
For all those that bow at the altar of Jeff Beck, and listen, there's no denying his prowess as a guitar player. Nice. He never really, I mean, you think about it, like he was never really part of one of these legendary bands. I mean, it's just Jeff Beck. You say Jeff Beck, you're thinking
one of the legendary bands of all time, Cream. I mean,
was he part of that? Seriously, I don't remember. Was he?
I take out my Google machine.
No, I'm not questioning you. I'm not questioning you.
You're not, but now I'm questioning myself.
Like, definitely Ginger Baker. I mean, obviously Steve Winwood, Clapton. But maybe Jeff Beck was there. I mean, could be.
Well, all right. So my Google machine tells me that.
I love the Google machine, Bo. A nice striped shirt while you're going down this path.
Very nautical, right? A lot of people question. British rock group who achieved fame independently before coming together. Okay, Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce,
Yeah, sure.
Ginger Baker,
Sure.
and no Jeff Beck. Hold on.
No, listen, he might have. Who knows? I mean, I'm not. We're going down a road we shouldn't be going down. We didn't mean to go down this road. It so often
I'm
happens
embarrassed because really, what this was Clapton and Beck together in the Yardbirds.
There you go. So no, but that's fair. No. Okay, so that you knew he had to get a start somewhere. But with that said, I mean, 50 years later, I mean, he's just sort of a man without a home, as they say, right? Just sort of out there floating.
Right. So huge change at that time, changing of the guard in rock royalty. And today in the markets, you've got Coinbase coming public. It's you tell me what the valuation is. I don't depending on what 5 minutes of the day we're at, you're anywhere between 70 million and 70 billion and 110 billion. I believe it came at 76 billion, which makes it as valuable as some of the classic old school financial institutions like your former employer,
Goldman Sachs. And listen, so we got to get at what I think about it is, listen, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. How do you like them apples as we get out of here? Because we got to get out of here.
All right, banks are reporting. I think Goldman's going to have great numbers. You know what? Coinbase is not Goldman Sachs. I agree with you, Guy.
See you tomorrow.
I'm going down to the crossroads right now.